All right, everyone, I'm just doing another V60 pour over demo. Got some of the tools of the trade here. Ceramic V60, plastic V60, a kettle that's not a heated type kettle. You can get that type of kettle. This is our green coffee today. It's an Ethiopia Yirgacheffe. You can tell it's a beautiful coffee. You can tell the grade of this coffee. This is the top grade or specialty grade. You don't see any defects. You don't see any bug damage or anything. Over here is our finished roast. Finished roast coffee. Beans should be complete and whole. They shouldn't be partials or pieces. Again, it's an Ethiopia Yirgacheffe, and we are a little transparent, pushing the industry a bit. We always put the roast date right on the bag. So the roast on this coffee was the 6th of March, and today is what, Friday the 11th. And so yeah, it's a few days old. Perfect. You can see there's no oil in the bean. Oil in the bean is an indication the bean is staling. The oil migrates to the surface as the bean stales. So we've got our kettle here. Kettle with a gooseneck, really helpful. I've got 33 grams here, and so we're going to start with just getting it wet. Try not to get water on the paper or away from the coffee area. The reason it's important to stay in the coffee is the water's going to go the path of least resistance. So if you spill towards the edge here, it's not going to go through the coffee, and it's not going to actually brew coffee. It's going to go just water. So I added a little bit of water there. We started with 0 on the scale. We're at 85 grams now. I usually add 40 to say 80 grams in the initial. And what we're doing there is we're just getting the coffee wet, just getting it started. You can see how bloomy this coffee is, or how gassy this coffee is, or how bubbly this coffee is. And that's an indication that the coffee's fresh. If you're brewing your coffee and it doesn't bubble or gas, then the gas has already escaped. If the gas has already escaped, much of the flavors have already escaped, which means the coffee is old and stale. And coffee's like a cinnamon bun, best served fresh. So when I say fresh, 30 to 40 days after roasting, depending on packaging. So keep in mind that coffee that again is oily is old, and quality of coffee can be seen with the roasted coffee because you can see whether the beans are whole or complete. Again, if the roaster's transparent and wants to put the date of roast on the bag, that's helpful. The other way is if the roaster's transparent and does what we do there and have the window where you can actually see the beans. So you can see the beans if they're low quality. You can see the beans if they're broken in pieces and chunks and whatnot. So that's usually an indication of low quality coffee. So I've been adding as I go. Don't let it get too low. We're at about 390, it looks like, on the 97 grams. And remember, 2 cups of coffee would be about 680, but we need to account for the water in the kettle here. Sorry, in the grounds when we're done. So I usually go about 720 grams for 2 cups. This is a 2 cup. If you wanted to do a single cup pour over, you would do somewhere in the neighborhood of 18 grams instead of 33 grams. I find that 2 cup pour overs work better. The V60 it's best with that type of coffee amount. If you're doing a single, that's fine. I just find, you're using a whole V60 filter, which isn't much money, but it's, a nice unbleached Hario filter. It just doesn't make any sense to me to make a single cup. Plus, why not have 2 cups of coffee? So I did heat the V60 ceramic a little bit, and I did heat the decanter a little bit. You can brew into like a Mr. Coffee pot. My mom's in her 80s, and I was over there the other day, and I have a V60 there that I've given her, the ceramic and the filters, and I just put it on her coffee maker pot and put it on the stovetop. Don't put it on heat, but put it on the stovetop. So we're pretty much done there. I'm at 650 grams. I'm going to add a little bit more. I'm going to let it drop back down. And so I'll talk again about the coffees. Remember we talked before about types of drinking vessels. A ceramic open mouth mug is best. It allows your nose to get in there. You can see the glass mug there. The coffee will taste totally different in the glass mug. I'm not going to get into the science of it, but the reality is your container changes the taste of the coffee. In the back there, you can see a kettle that's just a water kettle with a gooseneck, and those work as well. You can use those, boiling water on a regular kettle. I do have some other types examples of kettles here. So over here is just a inexpensive retail kettle for $30 or $40. And you could pour that straight into the V60, or you could put it into the into that one there with the gooseneck and pour it that way. This is the type of grinder you can buy at retail. These are rather expensive, more of a commercial, but that type of grinder with a hopper and a doser is what you're looking for. Those are available at retail for, I don't know, 40 to 80 bucks Canadian here in Canada. So there we go. We have an Ethiopia Yirgacheffe, one of the most favorite coffees that I have. We use it in our espresso blend, and it helps give us a kind of a sweet taste. African coffees are often dried with less water, African bed style, which means the fruit's dried on the coffee cherry, or semi-washed, honey washed. So partially washed with the fruit on it. When you do that, it allows for the sugars to come into the bean. It allows for a sweeter coffee. Remember, a lot of coffees are grown in wet climates, and they have a lot of water, and they can waste the water. But when you rinse a lot of fruit off with water, you end up with an oxygen problem in water bodies and streams. So it's kind of polluted in that it will rob the stream of oxygen. So the farmers have to put it in a septic field. So in Africa, where they don't have a lot of water, they often do honey washed and sun dried. That results in a better coffee. And with the internet, all the farmers worldwide are figuring out different techniques, different subspecies of coffee, different processing. So the last thing I'll give you today, a new tidbit, is this is a silver plated spoon. If you want to learn about coffee, if you fill your cup and you get it on the silver plated spoon and slurp like you're on a hot soup, you'll blast that coffee into your mouth and you will have totally different flavor characteristics. So drink your coffee black, try it with a silver spoon, and actually have a stainless steel spoon and a silver spoon and go back and forth. You will notice the difference. You don't have to be a super taster to notice the difference. So that's our V60 demo today. Grab a Java Roasters. This is your roaster, Green Bean Buyer Dave, and have a fantastic day. For those of you in Mission, just after Earth Day this year, we have a by-election, so I suggest you exercise your right to vote. Cheers, everyone.